Now to the action at Celtic Park, where Motherwell fielded a side including goalkeeper Andy Gorham, the player who sat out the last match due to a row over his private life. Motherwell lost 7 goals on that occasion. Gorham determined to prove a point or two yesterday. Match commentator Archie McPherson.
The countdown to the title leaves little time left and absolutely no margin for error, which does explain a mix of expectancy and tension around the stadium for a game which in current form ought to be a formality for Celtic, but in these circumstances will be regarded, I'm sure, as something of a cup tie. Well, that victory against Hearts kept their hopes alive, but it also took its toll. No Jonathan Gould, of course. Stuart Kerr, supposedly heading out of the door at the end of the season, takes his place. Jackie McNamara is out with a knee injury, but back in is Johan Mjolby, who missed the last couple of matches and perhaps a wiser man after suspension. Well, Motherwell have only won once in the last 7 games here, and at Celtic Park they've recorded just 1 win in the last 9 meetings. So they brave it out today with a side which is minus Tony Thomas, sent off last week, replaced by Michael Duisberg. And John Spencer is really back on form, having scored a delightful goal last week, and like Andy Gorham, of course, his ex-Ranger. And the referee, Jim McCluskey, who will firstly summon the crowd and players for a minute's silence in remembrance of the tragic casualties in the Hillsborough incident. Last time they met, you felt at one stage somebody should throw in the towel as Celtic piled on 7 against 10 men. But in fact, looking back on that, Motherwell actually played some very good football that night. However, that's like telling the supporters that the band was in tune as the Titanic went down. And with Celtic having scored 28 goals in the last 8 games, they're not going to be in the mood to offer life belts to the opposition today. There's a little nervy jab back at a man who is going to have a fair roasting all afternoon. Frankly, he is of the sanguine character, not to be too perturbed about all of this. There's Billy Davis, vocal as ever, orchestrating the movements on the field, or at least trying to. Bhoy will certainly want to make his mark in this game. He's got intentions here. Can't get his shot in. Larsson comes down on it. And I think the Motherwell defenders are really annoyed with themselves that Bhoy was allowed the latitude and the length of run that he made without any particular challenge. That's well done there and hooked away by Bhoy. Brannan, back to McMillan. There's Goodman in. Tom Boyd right in the middle there. McMillan doing a lot of probing, as I said he might do. There's a touchdown to Goodman. Too many Celtic bodies round that, though. And Celtic trying to counter-attack, and it could be successful. Weghorst on the left. Williker going right through. He might go right through in his own. Good coverage by the Motherwell defence there. They got back very quickly. Here's Larsson, corner kick. And really, Motherwell have been put under pressure as a result of themselves advancing downfield and leaving themselves exposed to this burst. So, all the big men in for this again. Weghorst adding to that dimension of height that they have in there. The likes of Reset and Mjolby and Andy Gorham getting the touch. There's a great save by Johan Larsson. Ought to have put that away. Wonderful save by Gorham. But you would have expected Larsson to bury it. Now the ball coming through a ruck of players. It was always going to be very difficult, but he's always a great line, instinctive goalie. Larsson, beautiful little nutmeg, he does that so brilliantly. There's Viduka. Reset, advancing. In came Larsson, and now Celtic turning the screw. Here's the test as Mjolby goes up there. Gorham again with a touch. Motherwell player lying down there. The referee waving play on. Duisberg, who's down, feels for a handball there, but the referee considers it was accidental. And now the physio can't come on. And the most intensive pressure of the game so far released by Celtic in the last couple of minutes. And there the ball coming in again. Loud claim for the penalty kick. And the referee looking at it, 4 square, turned away. Now reset. Nicely chested down Larsson, full of these little touches, and another one, blinker. Motherwell filing back, there's the shot. And away eventually by Brannan. They really have organised themselves very well indeed, Motherwell in defence. Celtic so far have found it very difficult to carve out a clear-cut opening for themselves. Bhoy. A lot of touch in it, and it's a brilliant save! Oh, that's a miraculous save by Gorham. Well now, a man under intense pressure. And here's a dramatic exhibition of a man who hasn't let all that tension affect him. One of the saves of the season. But can Celtic put it in there? They can't. Well now, I wonder what went through Andy Gorham's mind when he came to Celtic Park today. Whatever things he has perhaps recklessly done off the field, on the field he's always remained a consummate professional, and that was the best demonstration of it there. There goes the half-time whistle, and if Craig Brown has any nonce at all, he'll take into consideration the play of this man here. Look at what he's done today to foil Celtic. That double-barreled save, first of all, great to stop it. Amazing to get a rebound against a man who normally kills it from there. And then that stunning, a la Gordon Banks, stop there from that downbeat header by Scotland's leading goal scorer. I mean, what more can you do to convince somebody that this man, despite all the controversy, still remains one of the great goalkeepers? And that means a score at half-time. Brilliance for Bhoy. I think the signs were showing in the last 5 minutes of that first half that Celtic were beginning to take, as far as Motherwell are concerned, ominous command, raiding into that penalty area with a bit more aggression than they had been in the previous 20 minutes. And Motherwell have brought on Stephen Craigan. There he is, youngster who'll be up against it in a second 45 minutes. I think will be even more torrid than the first. Well, the Celtic supporters might have been thwarted by watching Andy Gorham making these superlative saves, but they're now giving it the full choral verve to inspire the side. Because plenty of determination in this run, and he changed his mind slightly. Burnley tried to play that back, Viduka. And Celtic now playing with the verve and determination they showed in the first 10 minutes in the first half. Reset. And it clips the bar. Gorham had absolutely no chance with that one. Well, the big fellow has been playing at the back, and he decided to make that run forward here. He could have played it to the side, judged it well, and look, scrapes the paintwork off the wood. Spencer won't get it. He's got reset at the back. Now Blinker. Move from that wide left position. I know he hasn't pushed forward all that much in the game. Burnley, he'll let fly, and down goes Gorham again. And I think he's angry with his defence and allowing that free path in for Burnley, who, as we all know, can hit them very clinically from just about there. Parried again by Gorham. Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that Celtic are disturbed by the absence of Paul Lambert. Simply cannot get going as fluidly in midfield. I think a great deal of Lambert's work goes unsung, but he adds solidity and predictability to Celtic's midfield. There goes Beakhorst. That's a decent ball again, and they're hobbling away. And there's a bit of a pull. That's a free kick. Stupidly conceded that time by McCullough, and he'll get a booking for that. Larsson left with the responsibility of taking this free kick, and then puts it out there. It's going to be driven in, and that passes from Burnley's shot. It passes Harold Bradback. Really drove it in low. And Blinker coming on the tail end of it as well. Oh, it's a bad corner kick. Ought to have been more pressure on the Motherwell defence. Still can't clear it effectively. That's a tempting one. Gorham with the touch. Away goes Goodman. Behind it, Celtic get a penalty kick. The two players clashing there, right on the edge of the box. Bradback coming in, and Goodman losing his sense of discipline, going in after him. Watch this. Yes, indeed, that was a reckless tackler. Against Gorham. In it goes. And this man is only 3 goals away from scoring his 60th for the club since he joined them. Celtic are 1-up. Well, he's delighted with that, because at this stage Celtic were beginning to get a little bit anxious. There's no doubt about that. And in it went, wrong footing Andy Gorham. Udoka holding on to it again. Must have that particular strength. Getting it off nicely. Blinker. Bhoy, who suddenly got free there. Viduka looked as if he might fly at it. Oh, and he seemed to hit the ground more than anything else. Beautiful little combined movement there. And for the first time in the game, these two really combined. Straight to Spencer. High one out there, neatly put down. There's a shot and care. Excellent save for a goalkeeper who's simply been a spectator for much of the game, and it says a lot of a goalkeeper to get down very quickly under telling circumstances like that. Nicholas, several minds as to what to do here. Should be cleared by Burnley, all right. Back to very good clearance. That's going to be a free kick. Yes, Larsson going down in a crumpled heap that time with that challenge. Well, you see them both going for the ball at the moment, and then, oof, that really is hard. Right into the ribs by Teal. Down they go, and surprisingly no booking. Never be ending of this match for Celtic now. That's a better ball, McKinley. quite happy to drag the ball to the outside and get the corner kick. Now McKinley. This could end it all, and does no! Once again, Gorham's behind it. Weghorst with that flying contribution. And I think for a moment, Andy Gorham was almost mystified as to where this was going to end up himself. Kind of unconventional way, let that go down and then scooped it away. Blinker taking his time. And there goes the final whistle. That, in the background, is not just a roar of celebration, but of relief as well, because although Celtic dominated this game and the goalkeeper, Struck, had hardly anything to do, there was that nervy last 5 minutes when Motherwell forced a couple of corners. But the two men, I suppose you have to mention Andy Gorham for making it only 1-0. It could have been infinitely more. His brilliance in the first half was there for all to see, with all sorts of difficult saves, and then some more in the second half. But the whole game hinged on an incredibly stupid attempt by Goodman to challenge for a ball. The penalty kick rightly awarded, and up came Henrik Larsson for that goal there. Motherwell fought to the very end, mostly a defensive performance, and even though it was a narrow result, Celtic deserving to be victors by 1-0.